A very warm welcome to you. It is lovely to have you among us. Good morning to all the respected dignitaries on the dais. Our today's guest of honor for today's program, Sriman Shubha Vilasji, Mr. Anand Murari Prabhuji, um, our BBA coordinator Chetan Bhujbalji, and all other dignitaries of the dais and all my dear students. I, Assistant Professor in Commerce, Dr. Rachna Thomri, feels an immense pleasure to welcome you all on behalf of the SP College, Commerce and BBA faculties. Today, we all have gathered here on the occasion of the FY BBA induction program and new launch of non-CGPA course. Before starting with the program, just I want to begin with a brief history of the SP College. SP College is an autonomous college in Pune which was established in 14th June 1916 and the name was New Pune College at that time. The college was renamed as Sir Parshuram Bhau College as a mark of gratitude towards then ruler of Jamkhadi state who donated rupees 2 lakh in memory of his father Parshuram Bhau Patwardhan. The present site of the college, 25 acres, was leased to the Shikshana Prasaraka Mandali by Sri Jagannath Maharaj Pandit at the request of Lokmanya Tilakji. Commerce faculty was started in June 1978 and BBA was started in the year 2008. College has completed more than 100 years of its glorious existence centenary and it has the legacy of outstanding students who have contributing to the society as academicians, thinkers, sportsmen, leaders, industrialists and have presence in all other kinds of profession. The hall in which we are sitting now, the Lady Ramabai Hall, has a historical significance as it has witnessed the presence and speeches of eminent leaders like Mahatma Gandhiji, Jawaharlal Nehruji, Subhash Chandra Bose, Swatantra Veer Vinayak Savarkar, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, and many others. And now we all are very fortunate to be the part of these institutes. With this small history, now I request Professor Preeti Shelan Madam to please come on the stage and please introduce our today's guest, Sriman Subhash Vilaj.
Good morning, everyone. Honorable Chief Guest, my fellow teachers, and my dear students. Vachal tar vachal. You might have surely heard this quote given by Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. It means that you can survive in the world only if you read. Only if you read, you have a true and absolute knowledge. But I understand in today's world of competition, everyone is busy in finding their own ways to get reach there at the top of the world. Since technology has taken over us completely now, we are nothing but slaves to it. The dopamine rush at our brain gets reached after we look at the screens emitting those harmful blue lights is unmatched. But there is something else that can be more addictive than coffee, your morning cup of tea, and even from your mobile screens too. Yes, you guessed it right. A well written book cannot be only addictive, but it can change your life completely. After all, it gives you a different perspective, a writer's perspective. It makes you think. It's not about what you see, it's about how you see and how your brain perceives it. As a teacher, I came across many books of a different genres. I have known that modern day books are no match to our ancient literature like Bhagavad Gita, Ramayana. That teaches a lot what is right, what is wrong, difference between dharma and adharma. These literatures keep a mirror right next to us. This book shows a cruel reality of life. But these literatures are not everyone's cup of tea, as these consist of Sanskrit shlokas with the deep meaning, which can be only understood by a wise person, a Siddha Purush, that is, someone who attains Siddhi. Today, it is my greatest honor to have been this once in a lifetime opportunity to welcome one among the Siddha Purushas, a great personality who is adored and respected for his literature. He is a great writer, a lifestyle coach, but with the scientific perspective of engineering. Let us all give a round of applause to welcome our today's guest of honor, Dr. Shriman Shubhavilas. Dr. Shubhavila is a TED Talk speaker, lifestyle coach, storyteller, and author. He studied patent law after completing his engineering degree, but finally he chose a path of spiritual seeker. Ramayana, The Game of Life, is his best selling series. He is also author of Overnight Meditation, Mystical Tales of Magical Life, and Perfect Love 5.5 Ways to the Lasting Relationship. He has authored more than 30 thought provoking books. The focus of his work is the application of scriptural wisdom to day life and addressing the needs of corporates and the youth through the Power Pack seminars. He has also delivered 6,000 talks, inspiring more than 5,25,000 people across the 20 countries in the 10 years. He has also visiting faculty members at several premier business management schools in India, including Indian Institute of Management (IIM), Nurse Monge Institute of Management Studies, Mumbai. He has also a guest speaker at the prestigious Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Boston, Dresden International University, Germany, Johannesburg, and several centers of Indian Institute of Technology, India. He is on advisory board of MIT Pune's education system. He's also spoken at Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Samsung at their world headquarters at USA. Sir, we are very glad to have you in our midst. We are all eagerly waiting for you to shower your abundant knowledge on us. Now, I request Rachna ma'am to come forward and continue with the program. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Preeti Madam. Now I request our BBA coordinator, Mr. Chetan, Dr. Chetan Bhujbal sir, to please felicitate our today's guest. Dr. Shriman Subhas Vilas ji. Shinde sir, please come on the stage. Nural madam, I request commerce faculties to please come on the stage. Now I request Dr. Chetan Bhujbal to please felicitate Mr. Anand Murari Prabhuji. Thank you very much. Just for information, the card is made by the students of the first year BBA. Thank you very much. This is totally students' innovative ideas. Thank you. Now we all are eager to listen to Sir. Now with this, I request our today's guest of honor, Dr. Shriman Subhas Vilasji, to please come on the stage and deliver his lecture.
Good morning, everyone. Very happy and grateful to be here amidst all of you all. Before I begin, I'll just offer a small prayer and begin. All of you can close your eyes and relax. This prayer will just help you open your mind also and be ready for something very important for your lives. Om Agyantimirandasya Gyananjana चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वतीदेवे गौरवाणि प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामो राम रामो हरे हरे. Thank you very much for being here. I am really honored and happy to be here at SP College. Thank you for the management of SP College for having invited me here to be in this August gathering of young students. Whenever I get a chance to speak to young minds, I really appreciate, I really become very happy. Today, I'm going to tell you some very important things in life that will help you not only in your careers, but will help you in your personal lives. So, as I'm going to speak to you all today, I'm going to be speaking on this topic 7 steps to the path of growth. Each of these steps are powerful. It will really help you transform your lives. It will add a lot of value and depth in your lives. So, kindly pay attention, focus, and absorb. Okay? And this is going to be very different from all your lectures that you hear every day. This is hopefully not going to be boring and it's hopefully going to keep you awake. Okay? I'm going to tell you a lot of stories during the whole session. And these stories will be something you'll remember for the rest of your lives. And the concepts that you learn is something that can really help you. Please feel free to note them down. Please feel free to remember them. And please feel free to ask questions towards the end. At the end of the session, I'll open the floor for question answers and we can have discussion. Okay. So the first step to of course, before we start speaking, I would really request all of you all to keep your mobile phones on silent so that you can really focus. It's not for me, it's for your benefit. Because what happens is the moment the mobile starts ringing, all your faculties get disturbed. So you better not even keep it on vibration, keep it on silent. Because when the mobile vibrates, you can't focus on anything else, isn't it? Okay. Having said that, let me begin today's session 7 steps to the path of growth. The first step is called change begins within. Many years back, when the Industrial Revolution happened and the first industries got formed in America, the people who came to start the industries came from um, army background. They were all army officers, and the army officers came back to their country and began companies, began industries, and they followed a very interesting style of management known as management with your hands. What does it mean? Management with the hands simply means don't get your head to the organization, only get your hands. We will tell you what to do. So, this style of management continued for many years, almost for 50 years. This was the style of management that continued, where people were asked to come to an organization not to think, only do things. After about 5 decades of this being practiced, a very interesting concept came up in Japan known as management with the head. That means when you come to the organization, don't just get your hands, get your head also. What does it mean to get your head? Means think, get ideas, innovate, give ideas, and contribute intellectually also. So people were encouraged to get their head along. So you could get your hands and you could get your ideas. This system continued for about 30 years and it was a very successful system for quite some time. But there's only one problem with the system. The problem with the system is that when too many people get ideas and there's clash of opinions, what happens? Fights begin. There was a lot of clash of ideas and nobody knew which idea to implement. And that's when they realized there is a third system of management which is more important than the first two. It is known as management of the heart. And you know where management of the heart is practiced? India. They realized India actually has a system of management known as management of the heart. What does management of the heart really mean? Management of the heart really means wherever your heart is, there you are comfortable, isn't it? Like when you go back home from your college, you feel good, isn't it? Because home is a place where your heart is, isn't it? Home is a place where you feel happy, where you feel safe, where you feel protected. Management of the heart means when you come to an organization to work, when you come to an institution to study, you should actually feel that your heart is there. You know, most people who work on from Monday to Friday, or for I don't know, you have a Saturday, Sundays off school, college, only Sunday. Okay, sorry to press the wrong nerve. On a Saturday evening, how do you feel? Excited, isn't it? Sunday holiday, Sunday is free and happy. How do you feel on a Monday morning? Frustrated, isn't it? So it simply means that your heart is not here. Your heart is at home. If an organization, if an institution, if any place is created in such a way that you feel happy going there, that means your heart is there. And that's what management of the heart simply means. The question now is, how do I bring my heart to work? How do I bring my heart to study? How do I bring my heart to function in any setup? Your heart comes in only when there is absolute knowledge. A lot of change that happens on an inner level first. I'll tell you a story to help you understand this. One time, this is a story from Karnataka. I don't know how many of you are from Karnataka here. So in Karnataka, there is a temple known as Bellur Halibadu. And this is a very ancient temple, and the construction of this temple is super fantastic. Beautiful structures. So during the construction of this temple, the king of the land, his name was Krishna Devaraya. So Krishna Devaraya, he would go in disguise to inspect the construction workers. So nobody knew he's the king. He would just go disguised and he would go and talk to random people. One day, he walked in and spoke to one construction worker there. This man had a hammer and a chisel. He was banging a stone. Krishna Devaraya just asked him, "What are you doing?" You know what this man said? This man threw the hammer and chisel down. He said, "Can't you see I'm breaking my head on this stone?" Frustrated guy. Krishnadeva left that fellow, went to the next person. And he asked the second worker, "What are you doing?" This man said, "I am doing something for the king because the king takes care of me, he gives me a salary. I'm so grateful to the king that I am reciprocating back." The king went to the third person, and the third person was actually carving the deity of the Lord, the most important deity in the altar. And Krishnadeva asked him, "What are you doing?" This man had a hammer and chisel in his hand. He dropped it. He had tears in his eyes. He said, "What am I doing? I'm doing nothing. I'm just holding my hammer and chisel. The beautiful form of the Lord is getting manifested on its own." Krishnadeva realized these are three types of people that you will meet in life. The first type of person does whatever he does because he has to do it, no option. I know among you all there are so many students who are studying because there is no option. I can't stay at home, my parents will kick me out. I can't go anywhere else because I don't have money. What else to do? Come and study. So this is the first mindset. Out of frustration, I go and do something. There are many people who do their jobs out of sheer frustration because they have no option. The second type of people are those who do what they do as a sense of duty. My country has given me so much, I need to give back. My parents have given me so much, I need to give back. So that's a sense of duty. It's better than frustration. It's better than doing it out of a sense of irritation. But that's not the highest. The highest is when you do something because you love doing it. When you do something because you love doing it, that comes from the heart. Nobody has to force you to study. Nobody has to put pressure on you to study. Nobody has to give you warnings to study. So when many students study because they're inspired from within, because they feel inspired from within, that transformation, that kind of education, that kind of study is something that is very powerful. One time there was a man who saw a caterpillar, and this caterpillar was coming out from a cocoon. I don't know how many of you have seen a butterfly being formed, you know. So the caterpillar breaks open a cocoon and comes out of it. So this young man, he saw this caterpillar coming out of the cocoon. And when the caterpillar broke open the cocoon and is coming out, the cocoon had sharp edges. And as the caterpillar was pushing itself out, the sharp edges were cutting the body of the caterpillar. There was all kinds of liquids oozing out of the caterpillar. Like really painful process. So this young boy thought for a moment, should I cut open the cocoon for the caterpillar so that it comes out nicely? He said, no, let me just see what happens. How the caterpillar manages it. The caterpillar struggled to come out. Many hours of struggling to come out. And finally, when it completely came out of the cocoon, that liquid that came out from the body of the caterpillar, that liquid became its wings. The beautiful butterfly wings that you see, you know what it is made up of? It is made up of the blood of the caterpillar. That means only when the caterpillar goes through so much pain, so much struggle, so much difficulty, then it becomes a beautiful butterfly. We see the beautiful butterflies flying around, but we don't see the pain that the butterfly goes through, right? So, anytime you want to achieve success in your life, remember, first thing, the whole idea of success comes from within. You can't create success from an outside source. So, if you want any kind of transformation to happen in your life, it has to begin within. So, before you become successful outside, learn to become successful inside. Only when you're successful inside can you become successful outside. Okay? So, this is the first step for you to achieve success in your life. Learn to have transformations, positive changes that happen in the way you think. If you look at your college as a frustrating place, it will be a frustrating place for you. If you look at it from the point of view of loving the knowledge that you're gaining here, loving the education that you're gaining here, loving the experience that you're getting here, it will be the most powerful thing that you can ever experience in your life. Therefore, you have three options. First is do anything out of frustration. Second is do everything out of sense of duty. Third is do everything because you love doing it. And I can tell you, the day you start loving what you're doing, that day you don't have to ever do a job. The day you start loving what you're doing, that day you don't have to work hard. It will just become a part of your life. You will just love it. And every day it won't be a frustrating experience. It will be a very blissful experience. All of us want to be motivated in life, isn't it? We all want to be motivated. But how do you become motivated in life? If you want to do well in your life, no matter now whether it is studies, whether it is your job, whether it is your careers, whatever, there are four ways to get motivated. The first way to get motivated is fear. This is known as fear based motivation. A lot of people in this world get motivated by fear. Unless their parents give them 2-3 kilos of galis, they don't study. So much you have to give, be behind them. And you tell them, if you don't study, then you won't get this. If you don't study, then we'll do this to you. So much fear has to be created for you to get motivated. I don't know how many of you all get motivated at the level of fear. There was one father who was beating his son like mad, really beating him up. The neighbor asked him, "Why are you beating him so badly?" The father said, "Tomorrow results are coming." So the neighbor said, "Arey, tomorrow results are coming. Why are you beating him today? Tomorrow I'm traveling. पहले मार के जाता हूँ, So a lot of people get motivated to study or work at the level of fear. That's a very low level of motivation. At some point, people don't care. Do whatever you want. I'll do what I want. The second level of motivation is reward. That means if you do something, I'll do something for you. And a lot of parents do that. They motivate the child. If you pass in your exam, I'll get you an iPhone. If you pass, then I'll get you this. So some type of motivation just from a reward point of view. And many teachers motivate their children. Their students are the level of reward. So reward is better than fear for sure. But it is not the highest level of motivation because it's an extrinsic thing. That means as long as I get something from outside, I will keep doing. The moment I don't get it, I stop doing. You create what are known as externally motivated kids. So these externally motivated kids, every time they need to do something in life, somebody has to put some pressure. And then they will get motivated. So many people who work in organizations are at this level, external motivation. And every time you want to motivate them, you have to give them a bonus, you have to give them a rise, you have to give them overtime, you have to do so many things to motivate them. The third level of motivation is a level of duty, where you tell someone to do something not because I'm forcing you to do it, not because I'm going to give you something to do it, but it is something that you feel from within. Just like, even to worship God, people are motivated at these four levels. The first level of worship of God is at the level of fear. So many religions push you to worship God out of fear. And then there are so many religions that push you to motivate to worship God out of a sense of reward, isn't it? Tirupati Balaji, hundreds and thousands of people who go there. Everyone has a big list in their pocket. The only motivation is I'll get something back. The business transaction. But a third sense of motivation is duty, which means I already got so much. I'm grateful. Like a small child was asked to write the seven wonders of the world. And everybody was, all the other children in this class were writing Taj Mahal, Eiffel Tower, and this and that. So this little girl was thinking a lot. And then she wrote seven wonders of the world are two eyes, two ears, a nose, mouth. Have you ever thought that these can be wonders of the world also? But actually they are. Only when you lose them, you realize the importance of it, isn't it? So when you have something already and you're grateful to it, it is called duty. So when you already have so much facility that the college has given you, so much facility that your parents have given you, what do you need to do? I just need to do my duty of studying, that's all. This is third level of motivation. And the fourth level of motivation is known as love. I do something because I love to do it. And therefore, this level of motivation is something that nobody has to inspire you by. You will study because you love to study. So, I'm sure all of you have heard of this very interesting way in which elephants are caught. When elephants are caught in the jungles, they catch the elephant when the elephant is very small. And what they do is that they tie the elephant with a big chain they tie. The first time the elephant is caught and tied to the chain, what happens? The elephant tries to break free. But the elephant is small, it is little, not so strong, and it pulls with the chain, and in the process it gets hurt. It starts bleeding. That day, the elephant makes a decision in its life. You know what the elephant decides? The elephant decides that anytime there is a chain and there is a pole, it means I can't do anything about it. The elephant starts growing bigger and bigger and bigger. The size of the rope, chain, and the pole becomes smaller and smaller and smaller. And eventually you will see huge elephant tied to a tiny pole and a tiny chain. When I saw this elephant for the first time, tied to a very tiny pole and chain, I always wondered, what is this? If the elephant just pulls his leg like that, the whole pole will come out. The chain will break. So powerful. But the elephant never ever does that. You know why? The elephant is conditioned in its mind. Pole and chain means I can't do anything about it. Many students get conditioned in their mind. Books, exam means I can't do anything about it. They just assume that I can't do anything about it. These are known as conditionings. The more conditionings you have about your life, the worse you will be in life. You will not be able to achieve success in life. The more you are flexible in learning so much, the more successful you will be in life. So, these years of your life are formative years. These are the years when you start understanding yourself and developing mental conditionings. Please do not put conditionings in your mind that will make you weak. Please do not make assumptions and conditions in your mind that will prove you to be less intelligent, less strong, less capable. Please don't do that. Because whatever conditionings you put in your mind today, they will become part of your life for the rest of your life. But rather, learn to be flexible. And one of the most important things that you can learn in life is the importance of long term goals. I don't know how many of you all in your childhood have heard of the hen or the duck that laid the golden egg story. So you heard, right? Let me tell you the story today in your life because today the story is more important than what you heard in your childhood. There was a hen that laid a golden egg every day. One golden egg. And the farmer who owned the hen, he was so happy. Every day morning, at one particular time, the hen will lay one golden egg. But the problem with that hen was that it ate a lot. The farmer thought, this fellow is giving me golden egg every day, but the back side of the hen is good, which is giving me golden egg. But the front side of the hen is eating so much. He said, I'm going to cut the hen, throw the useless side out, and keep only the back side. And he cut the hen. And what happened? That's all. The golden egg stopped coming, isn't it? So, in Sanskrit, there are two words. And I want you all to remember these two words. The first word is called prayas. Prayas means short term goals. A lot of people in life have short term goals. What is a short term goal for a student that could be? Short term goal is ये एग्जाम में पास होना है. That's short term goal. That means you somehow mug up, and on the exam paper vomit out everything and finish. Khatam. They feel peaceful. Exam khatam ho gaya. That's a short term goal. But there is another word in Sanskrit known as Shreyas. Shreyas means long term goal. Long term goal essentially means when I study today, why am I studying today? Whatever subjects you'll study, leadership, economics, whatever subjects you'll study, why do you study the subject today? You're studying the subject today because that subject for the rest of your life can help you earn your living, and it can help you contribute to society in a tangible way. So, what I'm studying today may be frustrating to me, may not be exciting to me, but the very thing that I'm studying today, if I learn it very nicely, for the rest of my life, it can be useful. That is known as Shreyas. Similarly, even in our own life, there are short term goals and long term goals. Somebody's short term goal may be, I want to enjoy. Short term goal. But enjoyment are not the goal of life. If enjoyment becomes the goal of life, those people, they enjoy for a small duration of time. For the rest of life, they are suffering. Right? So, Shreyas means today I may be suffering. Today I may be frustrated. Today I may be studying so much, learning so much, so difficult. But if I do it today, the rest of my life is sorted. That is known as Shreyas. And therefore, when we actually learn to look at motivation at a much deeper level than the external motivation that we speak, that really leads to long-term satisfaction. Therefore, we spoke about these four levels of motivation: fear, reward, duty, and love. Let us sacrifice short term achievements for long term achievements. Your long term is what is satisfying and long lasting. And the next point or the next thought that will help you in your personal lives is known as sharpen the saw. What is the meaning of sharpen the saw? Let me explain to you with the help of a story. There was a man, woodcutter, who went to cut wood. This guy went with a axe, which was blunt. He was hitting the wood. 8 hours he was hitting one log of wood, and not even a fraction of a change happened. Very little change happened. Another man saw him struggling so much. He said, "Why are you struggling? Why don't you just sharpen the saw?" He said, "No, no, no, no. I have so much work to do. I have to keep hitting, hitting, hitting." This fellow said, "Come on, just take 15 minutes off. And 15 minutes to sharpen your saw first. And then you hit, see what result comes." This fellow spent 15 minutes sharpening the saw on the rock. And then when he hit the wood, 8 hours what he achieved, he managed to achieve in 5 minutes. That is the difference between doing something without sharpening the saw and doing something after sharpening the saw. So for us in our life, what does it mean to sharpen the saw? Just yesterday, I was talking to a student who was struggling a lot with time management. And I told the student a very simple formula how to manage his time. And I'm going to tell all of you who are students here, tell me, how many of you all struggle in focusing in while studying? Put up your hand. How many of you all struggle? Please be honest, put up your hand. How many of you all struggle to focus while studying? The rest of you all are exalted pundits, it looks like. Don't seem to be putting up your hand. Good. This is at least a tip for those who are struggling to focus. Okay. I'm going to give you all a very simple tip, but it's a very important tip. The human mind has the ability to focus at a time for maximum 30 to 40 minutes. After 30 to 40 minutes of very intense focus, the mind starts wandering here and there. So, my advice to many students is 40 minutes at a stretch, study, and then take a 15-minute break from study. And in that 15 minutes, spend time relaxing. Don't go and watch Netflix. Don't go and play some video game. Don't go and fight with somebody. Do something that actually relaxes the mind. And after 15 minutes of relaxing, again study, you will have full energy back again. This is known as sharpening the saw. It essentially means those 15 minutes are time to rejuvenate yourself. In athletics, there is something known as peak performance. What is the meaning of peak performance? Peak performance means when an athlete is running a race. How long is a race? A 100-meter race is how long? 1 minute, 2 minutes, isn't it? That's all. But for that 1-2 minute race, they have to prepare for so many weeks and months together. And every athlete is taught this very important principle in life. I do a lot of coaching for some of the top athletes of India, both national and international level. And one of the things I always talk to them about is taking breaks after peak performance. Peak performance means what? Peak performance is a time where you have to put full energy into one action, one activity. Like for an athlete, there is full energy in that 1 minute, intense energy. I tell them one day before that and one day after a peak performance, take a break. No practice, no intense, matches or running and this and that. One day before, one day after. And then one day before, they need to just relax. I teach them meditation techniques. I teach them ways of relaxation. And I'll tell you, each and every person who does this, their performance the next day is massively different. Therefore, if you want to really succeed in your life, 45 minutes you put full peak performance. 15 minutes you just take a break. That 15 minutes is what we call as rejuvenation breaks. It will help you perform better afterwards. I know students who sit for 5 hours at a stretch. And in those 5 hours that they sit, they don't even cover material worth 15 minutes, 20 minutes. They seem to be staring at one book, one page for hours and hours and hours. Nothing goes in only. Remember that the mind, the human mind, is your best friend and your worst enemy. A lot of people don't understand how the mind works. And because they don't understand how the mind works, they take the mind very lightly. So I'm going to give you all some very interesting thoughts on how the mind works. Sorry, I'm just running through some slides. So the mind, the Bhagavad Gita says, the mind can turn hell into heaven or heaven into hell. The mind that is in control can turn a hellish situation into a heavenly situation. And the mind that is not in your control can turn a absolutely perfect situation into a complete mess. And therefore, the way you deal with your mind says it all. Every human being should spend some time learning to control their mind, learning techniques to stabilize their mind, learning techniques to really make the mind strong and powerful. Let me tell you a story. One time, there was a young boy who wanted a holiday from school. And this boy, he decided to play a trick on the school. So he came back after school hours and he brought with him 3 sheep. He put the number 1 on the first sheep. Big letter he marked on the body of the sheep. And on the second sheep, he marked number 2. On the third sheep, he marked number 4. And he sent the 3 sheep into the school. He went back home. Next day morning, when the staff and the cleaners came, they saw all over the school there was sheep litter. They started running around and they found 3 sheep. Number 1, number 2, and number 4. They were thinking, where is the number 3 sheep that is missing? They ran all around the school and they couldn't find the number 3 sheep. Where was the number 3 sheep? Didn't exist. They were trying to find the number 3 sheep that didn't exist only. And then they declared an emergency holiday. And this boy was very happy. Just like these people, all of us, we also have the number 1, number 2, and number 4 in our lives. But somehow we feel happiness lies in the number 3 sheep that is missing from our life. Isn't it? Somehow we are not happy with what we have. And we think happiness lies in what we don't have. Every husband is thinking, I wish my neighbor's wife was my wife. I would be so happy. You buy a phone and you buy a brand new phone. And the day you buy it, you think if I had this model, I would be so happy. Isn't it? You sit in a restaurant to eat and you ordered a plate of food. And the food on the other fellow's table always looks better than the food on your table. Isn't it? The nature of the mind is to always convince you that what you have is not good and what you don't have is good. The more you listen to your mind, the more frustrated you'll be. The more you have control over your mind, the happier you'll be. And the whole idea of controlling the mind, it simply means that we learn to observe the mind very carefully and take time to strengthen the mind. That's why I keep telling you students that please spend some amount of time on a regular basis on learning how to control your mind. Why do you think your college is actually getting into a curriculum which is very different from the academic curriculum? The reason is simply because today most universities and colleges in the world have realized this. Only academic knowledge is not going to help. And I speak at the biggest corporates in the world, and I can tell you this. I know students who have passed out from some of the best premier institutes in the world, whether it is IIMs or IITs or IISc, and I'm dealing with students who are going through such intense depression, such intense problems, simply because they don't know this art of controlling their mind. And therefore, my recommendation for you, all of you, to be successful in life is take some time out to learn to control your mind. The fourth step is remember a very important principle in life, that we need each other. You cannot be happy alone and you cannot become successful alone. I want to tell you a story from the Ramayana that will help you understand this better. When the monkey army reached the southern tip of India and they were searching for Sita, they came to know that Sita is in Lanka, which is 800 miles across the ocean. Now the question was, who's going to jump? Who's going to do it? All of them started talking about their strengths and weaknesses. Somebody said I can do 10 miles, somebody said I can do 50 miles, somebody said I can do 100 miles. So everyone was, giving how much they can do. Finally, one said I can do 500 miles. And then finally, Angad, one of them, he said I can do 800 miles. So everybody became happy that he can do it. Well, Angad said, sorry, I'm not sure whether I can come back. So everybody was sad. They were dejected. They didn't know what to do. That's when Jambavan, who was among one of the leaders, he looked at all of them and started doing a SWOT analysis, understanding the strengths and weaknesses. And he realized that one of them had not spoken at all, and that was Hanuman. Jambavan went and sat next to him and started reminding Hanuman of his potential, of his powers. And as Jambavan is reminding Hanuman of his powers, slowly Hanuman started becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. And very soon, Hanuman became the hero of the Ramayana, literally. From that story onwards, every page in the Ramayana, Hanuman only is doing everything. Now imagine if Jambavan was a manager in today's organization and Hanuman was working under him. What would Jambavan have done? Ideally, most people today think, if I can't do it, nobody should be able to do it. Forget Hanuman, forget Sita. If I can't do it, then nobody should be able to do it. All of us need one Jambavan in our lives who can remind us of who we are. And I'm sure all of you will understand this. Who have achieved any level of success, you will understand this. There is someone in your life who is playing the role of Jambavan. It may be a teacher, it may be a father, it may be a mother, it may be a brother, it may be some friend. Each and every one needs at least one person in our life who can encourage us to achieve our potential. All of us are like Hanuman. We have a lot of potential, but unfortunately, we don't know that we have the potential. And therefore, we need someone who can remind us of what our potential is. This is called seeing the bigger picture. Only if we have someone who reminds us of what our potential is, we can achieve any level of success in our lives. The problem is, how do you find the Jambavan? Most importantly, look for those who are encouraging you in your life. So you might say, my parents don't encourage me. That's fine. You might find a teacher who can encourage you. If you can't find a teacher, find a friend who can encourage you. Find someone. Every one of us need one Jambavan in our life. And that Jambavan, he is going to play the most crucial role in your life. When you don't believe in yourself, you should have someone who believes in you. If you have no one who believes in you, you can't be successful in life. Because for you to believe in yourself is too much. It becomes very difficult. And therefore, each and every one of us have to find at least one person who strongly believes in us. This is my fourth suggestion. So this helps us understand a very important concept known as dependence. So there are three ways to live life. One way is known as independence. Independence means I don't need anybody. Unfortunately, when we are students, we get into this mindset of independence. I don't need anybody. I don't need parents. I don't need teachers. I don't need anybody. Internet, Google is there enough for me. But that mindset of independence is a very dangerous mindset because there are many things that Google can't teach you. And when you come across problems that Google can't teach you, that's when you understand that I'm helpless. The second mindset is known as dependence. Dependence means I depend so much on the other person, I can't do anything without that person's sanction. If I had to go to the toilet, I would ask somebody. So that's too much dependence. It kills independent thinking. Both are bad. Independence is bad, dependence is also equally bad. There's a third way which is known as interdependence. Interdependence means I need you and you also need me. That means I can do something for someone, but someone can do something for me. That is a very important mindset to have in life. And every human being should have at least one person they can depend on and one person they can get inspired by. This is the fourth point, the fourth step in your evolution. The next step, which is a very important step for many students to understand, this is known as be yourself. And I'm going to tell you, this is the most important step right now in your life. There is a big gap between expectation and reality. Our expectations are here, the reality is here. The bigger the gap between expectation and reality, the more stress you are in. Today is a world of comparisons. Everyone is comparing with everyone else. And with Instagram, don't even talk about it. People are so frustrated just looking at their Instagram accounts. And people are doing stupid things to get attention, isn't it? Some of the most stupid things in the world are being done on Instagram just to get followers, just to get some attention, just to get some likes, isn't it? Unfortunately, the world of comparison is a very hollow world. Let me tell you about a very interesting fact in nature. I don't know how many of you all have heard of a garden fern. I'm sure garden ferns are very easy to see, right? Garden ferns, when you plant a seed of a garden fern, it grows in 3 months to this much in height. In 3 months, immediately it grows. But here is another plant which is known as a Chinese bamboo. I don't know how many of you have heard of a Chinese bamboo. Chinese bamboo is a very interesting plant. You plant the seed of a Chinese bamboo, 1 month, nothing grows out of the ground. 2 months, nothing grows. 6 months also nothing grows. 1 year, nothing grows out of the ground. 2 years, absolutely nothing grows. 3 years also nothing grows out of the ground. Now imagine you're watering a plant for 3 years, nothing is growing out of the ground. What inspiration to water? But after 3 years, in 3 weeks, the plant goes to 100 feet in height. Now, between the Chinese bamboo and garden fern, which is better? Is garden fern better or Chinese bamboo better? Any idea? What do you think? Chinese bamboo? How many people say Chinese bamboo is better? And how many people say garden fern is better? The point is, you can't compare the two. Chinese bamboo has some strengths, but there's some weakness also. It takes so long to grow, but it grows so tall. Garden fern has some strength, but has some weakness also. It grows quickly, but it grows so short. So now, how do you compare a Chinese bamboo and a garden fern? Unfortunately, the problem is that we keep doing that all the time in life. We keep doing that all the time and keep comparing Chinese bamboo with garden ferns. The more you do unrealistic comparisons, the more frustrated you'll be in life. Because unrealistic comparisons make you compare an apple with an orange. It'll make you compare a fish with a monkey. Can the fish do what a monkey does? Climb trees? No, the fish is useless. There was once an elephant that was participating in an Olympic competition among animals. And this elephant wanted to participate in a running race. And in the running race, there was a cheetah, there was a deer, there was a tiger, there was so many animals running. And the elephant also ran. Guess who won? Anybody? Any guesses? Who won the running race? Somebody said it. Say it loudly. Who? How many people think elephant won the running race? Wow, two people, very optimistic people. Yeah. Who is the fastest animal in the jungle? Obviously cheetah, right? Cheetah won the race. Elephant decided next year I'm going to win, no matter what. 1 full year, the elephant went through jogging practices, weight loss programs. He did everything possible. And next year again participate in the running race. Guess who won? Obviously, cheetah won. Elephant went into depression, permanent depression. Imagine if the elephant had participated in a weightlifting competition or a wrestling competition. Anybody else could have won? No chance. But this guy wanted to win running race only. The problem with us is that we don't understand what our potential is. And we are so busy comparing ourselves with somebody else without understanding our realities. When we understand our uniqueness and our realities, it will help us stand strong at the reality at which we are. Unfortunately, today, as I said, there's a big gap between expectation and reality. Reality is here, expectation is here. When people watch these movies and advertisements on the television, fair and lovely, so much fair and lovely, they put kilos and kilos of fair and lovely, what happens? Nothing much. You get frustrated. A boy watches a underwear ad, one fellow is jumping from top of the building to save a girl, wearing his underwear. And he thinks, if I also wear the underwear, I can also do it. Try jumping. What happens? So the reality is very different from what your expectation is here, but the reality is here. The bigger the gap between expectation and reality, the more frustrated you are. And therefore, it is important to start aligning with the realities of life. The more you are aligned with the realities of life, the more stronger you will be. So please learn to accept the realities of life, whatever our realities are. And in those realities lies your strength. The next most important uh, tip is learn to respond and not react. So, what is the meaning of learn to respond and not react? Learn to respond and not react simply means that there are some things that I need to learn how to communicate. There is a very interesting. So, when I go to many of these B schools and I begin my lectures, especially at IIMs and some of these really big B schools, I begin my lecture by making one statement. And the statement really takes them up. I tell people that talent is one of the most useless things you can have in life. Imagine going to IIM and telling an IIM student, talent is the most useless thing you can have in life. They get bewildered. Why? Because all they have is talent. And I'm saying talent is useless. That's a fact. Talent can only help you open the first door to success. Talent can at max help you open the second door to success. But the final door to success is not opened by talent, but it is opened by good attitude. If you look at some of the most successful people in the world, they are not the most talented people. Some of the most successful people are college dropouts, school dropouts, many times. But they are people who have good attitude in life. And what is good attitude? Good attitude means ability to learn from others. Good attitude means when you are wrong, saying sorry, it's my mistake. That's a good attitude. Good attitude means when somebody has done something, giving credit to that person is good attitude. Hogging credit from somebody else, that's bad attitude. So a lot of people in this world, they know how to communicate with other people, but they don't know how to communicate with themselves. And I'm going to tell you a very interesting story about communication and how important it is to communicate with yourself. Choosing to respond is very important. Like, for example, if you take a soda bottle, you shake the soda bottle, and you open the cover, what happens? Everything inside comes out, isn't it? You take a Bisleri bottle, shake it, and open, what happens? Nothing happens. It's cool, isn't it? So you have to decide whether you want to be a soda bottle or a Bisleri bottle. Life is going to shake you up. People are going to shake you up. The situations are going to shake you up. You will always go through situations in life where you will face challenges. Somebody might insult you, somebody might give you some gali, somebody might say something bad to you, somebody might force you to do something you don't want to do. Life is always going to be like that. But how you respond to life situation depends on you. There was a lady who was once in a shopping mall, and her young daughter was crying like anything. So when this young girl was crying, so this lady is speaking to her daughter. She's telling her, Jennifer, relax. The girl is crying and crying and crying. This lady is telling her, Jennifer, don't react, relax. The girl is crying more and more and more. The lady is saying, Jennifer, don't create a scene over here. Just relax. There was an old man who is observing this conversation between the mother and daughter. He comes forward and talks to this lady and he tells her, Ma'am, don't you think you're talking a language that is too adult like? Why don't you talk a more child friendly language to her? The lady looks at this man and she tells him, What makes you think I'm talking to her? Jennifer is my name. I'm telling myself, Jennifer, relax. So there are many times we don't have control over what others do. We don't have control over how others react. We don't have control over what others, think. But we have control over what we do and how we react. And that is the most important part of life. And this is what is known as learning to respond and not react. The quality of my communication to the world outside determines my success. But the quality of my communication to the world inside determines my happiness. In your communication classes in college, you will be taught how to communicate to the world outside. But does any communication class teach you how to communicate to the world inside? Hardly. And therefore, we need to learn to communicate with ourselves. Knowledge is incomplete unless it has three things. The first, whatever education you're going through in your life, it is incomplete without these three things. One is knowledge, second is skills, and third is values. Knowledge and skills, every school and college teaches you. But the third thing, which is values, it has to be self taught. So, what we are trying to do is attempt to bring in that aspect of life that is not taught in schools and colleges, which is values. And the values are things that create you, that make you the way you are. And those are the values that actually help you conquer so many problems in life, overcome so many problems in life. And therefore, the idea of responding and not reacting is a very important step for every student to learn. The last and the final step that I would like to share with you all is known as selfless service. Let me tell you a very interesting thought, and this will help you understand what selfless service really means, basically. Depression. Nowadays every second person says I'm depressed. It's become fashionable. In my understanding, depression is actually the worst form of selfishness. I'll repeat. Depression is the worst form of selfishness. Why? Because a depressed person is only thinking of himself or herself. They don't think about others at all. The reality is the world is going through so much pain and suffering. And the problem with us is we are so much into ourselves that we don't care for others, isn't it? How much do we think about other people's suffering? We don't. We don't care at all. So if you want to develop a positive mindset in your life, you have to learn to see the suffering of others in a positive way. Most people love to talk about their problems. They love to talk about the problems. One small problem you have, you'll catch 10 people and keep telling again and again about the problems. Isn't it? But that's not the way to deal with your problems. I'll tell you a very interesting story. There was a man who came to a auditorium like this. There were hundreds of people sitting in the auditorium. He said, I'll tell you a joke. And he began telling a joke. So he said there was a man named Luigi who was celebrating his 50th anniversary, marriage anniversary. So everybody wanted to know what is the secret of your long lasting marriage? And Luigi said, the secret of a long lasting marriage is that when um, on my 20th anniversary, I took my wife to Rome. And on my 50th anniversary, I'm going to get her back. Secret of long lasting marriage. So everybody laughed. And then this man said, he repeated the same joke again. There was a man named Luigi who was celebrating his 50th anniversary. Everybody wanted to know what is the secret of his long lasting marriage. And Louis said, the secret of a long lasting marriage is that when I was celebrating my 20th anniversary, I took my wife to Rome. When I was celebrating 50th anniversary, I got her back. Those who didn't understand first time laughed the second time. After a minute, this man again repeated the same joke again. There was a man named Louis. He was celebrating his 50th anniversary. By this time, people are getting irritated. You know? Fourth time, again he repeated same joke all over again. And then fifth time, again the same joke. There was a man named Luigi. By this time, people were frustrated. You know? And then this man made a statement. Very powerful statement. You know what he said? This man said, if we don't laugh over the same joke again and again, why do we cry over the same problem again and again? When we go through problems in life, we love to talk about it, isn't it? The way in which we can actually handle our life better is if we start learning the value of what is known as selfless service. And I'm going to tell you something very important in your life that you, as youngsters, if you remember this and you follow this, you will really make a lot of progress in your life. Every single day, do something for others that they can't return back to you. Every single day, do at least one good thing for somebody without expecting anything in return. Say one good word to someone, appreciate someone, do something good to someone. Do at least one good activity every single day. Keep that as your life's goal. And I'll tell you, the more you think about others, the less you think about your own problems. Today's world is a world that is filled with so many people who are selfishly thinking only of themselves. And therefore, this world is a sadder world. The more people start thinking about others, the more happier and the more joyous life is going to be. And therefore, the uh, seventh thing that I spoke about is the idea of selfless service. These seven things that we discussed today are very important steps for you to learn to deal with your life and for you to learn to grow. The first thing we spoke about how change begins from within, how every single thing that you want to achieve in your life begins with the way you think. So when you want to do something, learn to do it from your heart. The second thing we spoke about is achieving motivation. We spoke about four levels of motivation: fear, reward, duty, and love. And we spoke about how it is important to learn to start getting motivated, not from external things, but from inside. And the third thing we spoke about is sharpen the saw. I spoke about 45 minutes of study, taking a 15-minute break to sharpen your saw, to give yourself rejuvenation that you need to perform again. And then we spoke about how we need each other. The idea of how every one of us need a Jambawan in our life who can inspire us, encourage us, motivate us, help us see our potential. And looking for that Jambawan in our life is the idea of interdependence. And you can be a Jambawan to somebody else's life. Just like you need somebody, somebody else needs you. And then we spoke about how important it is to be yourself and not compare yourself with other people. The gap between expectation and reality causes a lot of stress. The more aligned your expectation is with the realities of life, the more peaceful and happy you are. And then we spoke about the importance of responding and not reacting. Remember the story of Jennifer Relax. The quality of my communication with the world outside determines my happiness. So the quality of my communication with the world inside determines my satisfaction levels. And finally, the last thing we spoke about is selfless service. How every one of us should spend at least few minutes every day trying to do something for others which they cannot give back in return. Every single day, do something for others that makes them grateful. And that will bring you greater satisfaction and greater joy in your personal life. Thank you very much. I'm very honored to be with you all.
Thank you, sir, for this motivational. I hope that today's inspire ideas and discussion around the ways that we can make our city, nation, and world a better place. After this, now we are going to launch a new course for the non-CGPA. For this, I request Anand Murari Prabhuji, please come on the stage.
Good morning to all of you. Very wonderful session given by our astro respected principal sir. Wait, just back to sir also, and he agreed for the course that is we are going to have in your college. I think majority of you might be thinking that what sadhus are going to teach us because they are having different kind of the hairstyles, not different kind of the clothes. No, some days or some years back, I was standing in the queue in commissioner office, Pune commissioner office, police commissioner office. I was in the queue for my passport. He was there. I was to go for the foreign trip, so I was standing in queue. And one young man, but not from your college, definitely. I asked him from which college he is, so he said the different college name, but definitely the reputed college from Pune. He came very close to me and he's asking, "Sir, I'm having one question." I just turned back and said, "Okay, what's your question?" You know what he asked me? He asked me, "Sir, तुम्ही बाजीराव मस्तानीची हेअरस्टाईल का ठेवली?" Such a funny question he asked me. तुम्ही बाजीराव मस्तानीची हेअरस्टाईल का ठेवलाय म्हणून. I just asked him, can't you understand what kind of clothes I'm wearing and all? He's not able to make the. This is what the today's Indian youth. भारतातल्या सगळ्या युवकांची हीच अवस्था आहे आज. थोड्या वेळापूर्वी मॅडम एस पी कॉलेजचा someone else other madam telling the history of SP college. Even I was not knowing ki before this the college name was the Pune college नाव होतं तुमच्या कॉलेजचं आणि नंतर SP college झालं because still my understanding Pune college is another campus is there in the Pune. That is the Pune college. But such a the prestigious college you are studying, you all are a part of such a big institute. I'm having one big question, one small question for you, not a big question. Can you tell me, anybody of you, who was the richest person 500 years back in the world? किती लोक UPSC प्रिपरेशन करताय तुम्ही MPSC प्रिपरेशन बद्दल विचार करताय सिंपल क्वेश्चन आहे 500 वर्षापूर्वी जगात सगळ्यात श्रीमंत व्यक्ती कोण होती कोणी सांगू शकेल नाही ना अवघड आहे ज्यांनी IAS क्रॅक केले त्यालाही नाही येत I know that. I know so many people who already done the IAS and all. They also don't know answer of this question. Okay, who was the richest person 200 years back? Then also it is little tough. सब में the अपने दिमाग के घोड़े दौड़ा के वो सोचेंगे कि शायद oils was there at that time 200 years back तो oil industries में से जो भी कोई होंगे वो शायद हो सकते हैं अमीर दुनिया के. Okay, if I come to 50 years back, कोण था दुनियातला सगळ्यात श्रीमंत व्यक्ती 50 वर्ष आधी कोण होता माहिती आहे तुम्हाला तुम्हाला आमचा जन्मच नव्हता झाला त्यामुळे असे फालतू प्रश्न नका विचारू आउट ऑफ सिलेबस आहे ते सगळे प्रश्न अच्छा ठीक आहे जर तुम्हाला 20 वर्ष आधी बदला तर सगळे बिल गेट्सचं नाव घेतील झालं सगळे जर डेफिनेटली एक 20 वर्ष आधीपासून त्यांचं बोलबाला चालू आहे जगाचा श्रीमंत व्यक्तींमध्ये परंतु 500 वर्षापूर्वीच आपल्याला काहीच माहिती नाहीये आताचंही काहीच माहित नाहीये And then also we all are studying भारतीय युवकांमध्ये दुसरा एक प्रॉब्लेम आहे की ज्यावेळी ते अभ्यास करायला येतात ना त्यावेळी एक मोठा गोल समोर ठेवतात की माझी डिग्री कंप्लीट झाल्याच्या नंतर काय भेटलं पाहिजे 1 लाख रुपये सॅलरी एक गाडी आणि एक बंगला आणि काम काही नको मला करायला एवढीच गोष्ट तुम्ही समोर ठेवून चालता आणि जर अशा गोष्टींची जर अशी स्वप्न असतील तुमच्या समोर तर फार दुर्भाग्य आपलं की तुम्ही कोणीही जीवनामध्ये सक्सेसफुल नाही होऊ शकत जीवनामध्ये जर सक्सेसफुल व्हायचं असेल तुम्हाला तर या सगळ्या स्वप्नांच्या परे जायला पाहिजे तुम्ही म्हणाल मग काय करायचं या स्वप्नांच्या जर परे जायचं तर मी तुम्हाला काही लोकांची नावं सांगतो जी 500 वर्ष आधी होती तुकाराम महाराजांना किती लोक ओळखता तुम्ही एव्हरीबडी रेजिंग हँड स्वामी विवेकानंद 200 years back story almost nearby 200 years back story स्वामी विवेकानंद तुकाराम महाराज 500 years back story गौतम बुद्ध 2000 and 2500 वर्ष आधीची कथा सांगतो अर्जुन 5000 year back story हनुमान just quoted the हनुमान ना एव्हरीबडी नोज द हनुमान, दॅट इज मोर दॅन दॅट. हे सगळे लोक जीवनामध्ये सक्सेसफुल आहेत, कारण की एवढी वर्ष गेल्यानंतरही आपण त्यांना ओळखतो. बरेच जण त्यांच्या पावलावरती पाऊल ठेवून चालण्याचा प्रयत्नही करतात, परंतु ज्यांच्याकडे कुणाकडेही भरपूर पैसा होता वगैरे त्यांना आपण ओळखत नाहीये. त्यांचं नावही विसरून गेलो. काही वर्षांनी बिल गेट्सचंही नाव विसरून जाते. आणि असं जर आपल्याला सक्सेसफुल व्हायचं असेल या लोकांची सक्सेसची, बिकॉज सर जस्ट टोल्ड द हाफ ऑफ द स्टोरी टू द जांबवान मोटिवेटेड हनुमान. If you go to the back of the story, the Jambavan told at that time to the Hanuman that when I was the young, ज्यावेळेला मी यंग होतो त्यावेळेला आय जस्ट डन वन जम्प, एका जम्प मध्ये मी पूर्ण पृथ्वी आहे ना तिला प्रदक्षिणा करू शकतो. ही सेड मोर दॅन दॅट, वेन द लॉर्ड अपीयर्ड ॲज अ त्रिविक्रम. भगवंतांचा एक त्रिविक्रम अवतार आहे ज्याच्यामध्ये त्यांनी 3 स्टेप मध्ये पूर्ण ब्रह्मांड मोजलं होतं. म्हणजे त्यांना मी परिक्रमा केली होती, पूर्ण 1 सर्कम्फरन्स कंप्लीट केला होता जस्ट इन 1 जम्प. नाऊ आय एम ओल्ड, आय कॅन डू दॅट. At the same Jambavan comes in the Dwapar Yuga. This is happening in the Treta Yuga. In the Dwapar Yuga, he fights with the Lord Krishna. He fights 21 days. Though he was having the power in his body, or he was having the capacity to jump over the sea, then he is motivating to whom? He is motivating to the Hanuman. The same Hanuman, who you can say in our today's language, काय म्हणतो तुम्ही त्याला, मॅन ऑफ द मॅच. तसा एक मॅन ऑफ द वॉर जर म्हटला तर रामायणचा मॅन ऑफ द वॉर कोण आहे? हनुमान इज द मॅन ऑफ द वॉर. आणि त्या हनुमानाने ज्यावेळी महाभारतचं युद्ध झालं का, अर्जुन वेंट टू आस्किंग द हेल्प हनुमान. And you know what Hanuman replied? Hanuman replied, it's not my time today. It's your time. I will just do what? I will just do the role of guiding to you. मी युद्ध नाही करू शकत आता, जे की हनुमानमध्ये सगळी कॅपॅसिटी असून पण त्यांनी युद्ध करायला नकार दिला. तो म्हटला मी काय करेन, तुला मोटिवेट करेन आणि तू युद्ध केलं पाहिजे. चाणक्य पंडितचं नाव ऐकलं असेल. चाणक्य पंडित जर काय करू शकतात, चंद्रगुप्ताला जर राजा बनवू शकले असते तर स्वतःही बनले असते ना, कारण की दिमाग कोणाचा होता? त्यांचा स्वतःचा होता. परंतु ते स्वतः नाही केलं त्यांनी. इज द किंग मेकर, डोंट वॉन्ट टू बी अ किंग. द सेम वे, जर तुम्हालाही तुमच्या जीवनामध्ये जर काही मूल्यांची आवश्यकता असेल, तुम्हाला तुमच्या जीवनामध्ये यशस्वी व्हायचं असेल, तर आपले जे शास्त्र आहे, व्हॉटएव्हर वी आर हॅव्हिंग द स्क्रिप्चर्स ना, वेद, शास्त्र, रामायण, महाभारत, गीता, या सगळ्यांचा सखोल अध्ययन करून त्यांना जीवनात उतरवलं पाहिजे. डोंट ओनली ऑलवेज थिंक देम ऑन द प्लॅटफॉर्म ऑफ द सायन्स. सायन्स इज अ डिफरंट ब्रँच ऑफ एज्युकेशन. अध्यात्म एक वेगळी शाखा आहे. प्रत्येक शाखा वेगळी असते आणि एका शाखेला दुसऱ्या शाखेबरोबर कम्पेअर नाही केलं जाऊ शकत. तुमच्यामध्ये किती जण आर्ट्सचे आहेत? आर्ट्स. अच्छा, किती जण कविता करतात? कविता करायला आवडतं? बरेच जण आहेत. कवी असणारच सगळेजण, नाहीतर मग कॉलेज लाईफच्या मजा काय आहे जर कविता नाही करू शकला तर. एखादा कवी जर बसून चंद्रावरती कविता करत असेल आणि तो लिहित असेल की माझी प्रेयसी चंद्रासारखी दिसते, सायन्स थ्रू प्रूव्ह करू शकता का तुम्ही याला? नाउ यू टेल ही, कम इन टू द सायन्स लॅब अँड प्रूव्ह दॅट हाऊ युअर गर्लफ्रेंड इज लुकिंग लाईक अ मून. इम्पॉसिबलची गोष्ट आहे ना, प्रूव्ह नाही केली जाऊ शकत, कारण की पोएट्री एक वेगळा विषय वस्तू आहे आणि विज्ञान काय एक वेगळी विषय वस्तू आहे. तसंच अध्यात्म एक वेगळी विषय वस्तू आहे आणि सायन्स एक काय वेगळी विषय वस्तू आहे. अध्यात्म शिकून त्याला जीवनामध्ये उतरवायचंय, सायन्स लॅब मध्ये नेऊन त्याला टेस्ट नाही करायची. जर त्याला जीवनात उतरवलं तर डेफिनेटली तुम्हाला फायदा होईल त्याचा. आणि जर जीवनात न उतरवता फक्त जर तुम्ही त्याला सायन्स लॅब मध्ये नेला तर तुम्हाला काय भेटणार आहे? तर काहीच हाती लागणार नाही. म्हणून तर या सगळ्या शास्त्रांचा कितीतरी लोक ही सगळी शास्त्र वाचून, जसं तुकाराम महाराज म्हणतात, गीता भागवत करती श्रवण अखंड चिंतन पाहिजे. गीता भागवत रेग्युलर श्रवण केलं पाहिजे. अर्जुनने केलं, पुणे अजून केलं, शिवाजी महाराजांनी केलं, ज्ञानेश्वरांनी केलं, महात्मा गांधींनी केलंय, त्याचबरोबर टिळकांनी केलं. या सगळ्या प्रसिद्ध व्यक्तींनी, ज्या लोकांना आपण काय म्हणतो ते त्यांच्या वेळेचे धनी व्यक्ती नव्हते, परंतु ते कशा जीवनामध्ये यशस्वी लोक आहेत. म्हणून तर याच शास्त्राच्या बेसिसवरती आम्ही तुमच्या कॉलेजमध्ये ही कोर्स लॉन्च करतोय ना, लाईफस्टाईल मॅनेजमेंट फ्रॉम भगवद्गीता. आपलं जीवन आपण भगवद्गीतेतून कसं मॅनेज करू शकतो. तर माझी रिक्वेस्ट आहे तुमच्या सगळ्यांना की तुम्ही या कोर्ससाठी रजिस्ट्रेशन करा. वन्स इन अ वीक हा होणार आहे तुमच्या कॉलेजमध्ये. डे, टाइम वगैरे सगळी गोष्ट तुमच्या व्हॉट्सअप ग्रुपवरती तुम्हाला इन्फॉर्म केलं जाईल. परंतु तुम्ही जास्तीत जास्त संख्येने जर याच्यासाठी रजिस्ट्रेशन केलं की काय ना मॅक्सिमम नंबर स्टुडंट कॅन अटेंड दिस, then definitely such kind of sessions which are specifically different on the Bhagavad Gita, we will include in your college also, and you all will get benefited. Thank you very much.
Now I request Sudhanshu O to please come on the stage and propose a vote of thanks for participation.
Thank you, ma'am. I, Sudhanshu from TY BBIB, is privileged to propose a vote of thanks and acknowledge the contribution of those who worked really hard to make this session happen. I extend a really hearty vote of thanks to our chief guest, Dr. Shubha Vilas, who spared time from his busy schedule to grace the occasion. Today we had an opportunity to hear your thoughts, and this will surely encourage us in our future endeavors. I also thank Sri Anand Murari sir for starting a course for us. Your thoughts have enlightened our minds and have shown us a new path. His ideas and elegance of explanation of everything, I need to mention my deepest sense of appreciation. Also extend thanks to Principal Sir, Vice Principal Sir Praveen Ransure, BBA Coordinator Dr. Chetan Bhujbal, Commerce HOD Anil Khanse Sir, Pinkle Ma'am, Shilpa Ma'am, Preeti Ma'am, and Vinita Ma'am for their enormous cooperation for the organization of this session. I'm also obliged to non-teaching staff and all members who have contributed for successful implementation of this session. A special mention to our respected principal, Dr. Sunil Gaikwad sir, for being the catalyst that stimulated us to do our best and standing as pillars of strength. With a deep sense of appreciation, we thank our teachers for their untiring efforts. Last but not least, a big thank you to my dear friends who were really patient audience and contributed for making this session a huge success. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sudhanshu. Now I request Principal Sir to please address the session.
Good morning, everyone. Dear students and colleagues. Our friend sitting on the dais, Honorable Shubha Vilas and Anand Murari and Chetan sir. No doubt, Gomra madam is also there. Dear friends, first of all, I would like to welcome a very warm welcome from my side. You are at the birth, you are just stepping into the senior college, and I'm going to give you some information regarding the college. Ours is a campus area and measuring more than 25 acres, and we have a ground more than 8 acres. We have well equipped, the equipments are there for exercises in Tumkhana. We have a huge library, as well as we have too many faculties, well trained faculties in our college. So I want to say that you may please avail all these the facilities right from the say library to ground. Dear friends, this type of program has to be there, which is so-called induction program. The necessity of this program is very much because all we are there for next 3 years at least. Our association would be there, and this is the right time through this program to introduce each other and to be with in association of each other. I'm not going to give more, the the advice is to you people, but I would say only if you have a strong purpose in life, you don't have to be pushed. Your passion will drive you there. So, this is the statement made by famous philosopher Bennett. So, we have to have the main purpose, we have to have our objective of life, and then your passion will drive you there. So, I hope that you will enjoy all these 3 years at least in the campus, and you will be doing very nice things in future. I wish you all the best from my bottom of heart. And thank you very much.
Your precious guidance. Now I request the faculties teaching to the BBA to please come on the stage one by one and introduce yourself. Before that, this session is over. Before that, I want to declare that this first session is completed and there is a book stall outside. Students are requested to please visit that book stall outside the hall.